All right, well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us for this session. We are excited to have 5 wonderful panelists from across the counties here to discuss what they've been up to in the last couple of months. I'm sure they've just been having a little vacation. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so we're really excited to hear from some of our local businesses of what they've been up to and how they've been weathering this storm. So I'm hoping that we'll hear lots of insightful and inspiring things from our panelists. No pressure, you guys. So my name is Shelly McFarland, and I work for the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville. I'm the Business Development Officer. So pretty much my job is to help businesses in any way I can and also assist new businesses in opening in the county. So this session here today is specifically targeted at small retailers. And we're just, hoping to hear from some of our retailers about what's been going on and hopefully share some insights with other retailers and businesses across the counties of some ideas and suggestions of what they can do to help get businesses up and running and keep our business community strong and resilient during these difficult times. So I will pass this over to our panelists to introduce themselves. Maybe we'll start with you, Lynn, if you don't mind starting with your introduction.
Sure. My name is Lynn Libbos, and I've been in business for 23 years, downtown Brockville. I'm a retail clothing store. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. And your clothing store is called Echo Clothing. You should.
Oh, that would be good to tell you that. Yeah.
Awesome.
See, I'm nervous.
And then, Lynn, do you want to touch just a little bit about what the initial impacts of COVID were on your business?
I guess sitting at home thinking to myself, how am I going to generate income? How can I be creative? How can I still be able to do that? Sitting at home thinking, I can't just sit here with thousands and thousands of dollars sitting on the floor, knowing that I'm going to have to pay it within 30 or 60 days, pay it sooner or later. That was frightful. So in that, had to be creative, had to start more Instagram, more Facebook, more social networking, messaging, text me, everything I could think of to create some energy to get people to want to purchase. I never did an online store, just was way too much. I didn't really want to do that. Having to put in thousands of pieces of inventory was going to be the biggest, situation for me.
Definitely. And so because you were a clothing store, you weren't considered essential, so you had to close and just only do kind of online or virtual, figure out how to make that work, right?
I did virtual shopping, curbside pickup, curbside delivery, stood at the window and showed people products while they're standing on the street. They would purchase and then they would e-transfer me right from the sidewalk, and then they'd stand back and then I would open the door and drop it out and then close the door quick. And that seemed to kind of work, and they seemed to like that, and they were happy. They were walking by. I did porch delivery as well every day at 4 o'clock until probably 7 o'clock at night. Wore gloves, got out of the car with the gloves, with the mask, went up, touched the doorbell, left the package 10 feet from the door, got in my car, took off the gloves, put them in a plastic bag, tied them all up, and then text the person and said, your package has arrived, and then wait to see if they come out and pick it up. And then, hi, and wave at them, and they were all happy.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Lynn. Okay, we'll go to Janet next. If you want to do a little intro, Janet.
Sure. So I started Mrs. McGarrigle's Fine Food 32 years ago. We make a line of 14 specialty mustards, chutneys, and salad dressings that we make right in the shop. We have gourmet retail, and we do cooking classes as well. And we sell as well, kitchen gadgets and that sort of thing. And our business is, we have a big wholesale component to it, and Joanne is one of our awesome customers. And so to tell you, we're located in Merrickville, and we have about 3,000 square feet total. Much like Lynn, I was at the beginning of March, we really start to buy a lot of inventory for our whole summer and fall season. So I was really sitting on, a few hundred thousand in inventory, which was making me very nervous as well. Even though we were considered essential, I closed for the first few weeks and just did online orders, which were kind of trickling in, maybe one a day, if that kind of thing. And I was open when I did reopen. I was just open from 10 till 2 because I was doing a lot of meals to go, which I used to do a lot of. So I was delivering everywhere from Brockville to Ottawa, Canada, lots of lasagnas and that sort of thing. Basically that's, our sales were down to 90%, including we sell, a lot to restaurants, so that was at 0. Our cooking classes, of course, we had to cancel, and I'm sure I probably cancel the fall session as well. Not sure if people will be comfortable in that setting. So really, and my manager is not comfortable in the whole situation. So she left very early on, my store manager. So the first, I think, about 70 days, I was there in the store every day by myself, and then delivering, then cooking, and then so the days were up to like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So initially it was quite a shock, and also, of course, the staff. So it's slowly changing now. I do have a few staff in.
Awesome.
And we're slowly, our hours right now are 11 till 4, except on the weekend, as of this weekend, 11 till 5. So they're still not our regular hours, but getting closer.
Awesome. Thanks, Janet. All right, we'll move on now to Shelley, if you don't mind giving a little intro of yourself and your business.
Hi, good morning. So my name is Shelly Mitchell, and I own To Be Continued in Kemptville for the past 11 years. And we do a variety of things. We're a family consignment, we're a toy store, and we do helium balloons. So I initially noticed the impact of COVID sort of mid-March. Things really slowed down at the shop even before the closure. People, you could tell, there was lots of news reports, people were scared. Such as other panelists have just mentioned, January and February are the months that we restock from our Christmas season. So we put in a lot of money into product in January and February, and those are the 2 slowest months of our year. So by March, things typically start to pick up, and April and May are 2 of our busiest months of the year. They pay for all that product, right, that we bring in. So as things slowed down, yes, I think all of us were really frightened, and I had to lay off staff. Things were really quiet. I started putting in really long days at the shop, which continued. They still continue. So when the closure happened, we quickly shifted gears, right? We had to find the best way to reach our customers, and panic buying kicked in a bit, I'd say, from people. So like every other stories, I was at the shop from 9 a.m. to 6 or 7 doing deliveries till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, leaving my family behind, which is always tricky. And so now we're open and our hours are reduced. I'm still, I brought 1 staff member back, because truthfully, people, I think, are still a little bit afraid. We're also now in our slower period, right? We went through our busy months closed, and we're in our slower period again. And I wonder about moving forward, right, how things will look. So I'm still trying to, run the store mostly on my own.
Awesome. Thanks for that intro, Shelley. All right, and we'll go next to Joanne.
So, hi, I'm Joanne Sitzma, and my husband and I own the village store in Athens. And our story is a little bit different because we were considered essential service as a grocery store. So our business increased about 50% overnight. And because we really care about the folks in our community, we started home deliveries, we started curbside pickups, and all of those things that would make it, easier for our customers who are, nervous. We found particularly a lot of folks coming back from the south were self-isolating, so we were kind of their go-to for those few weeks late in March into early April. So it was extremely stressful. You've got all of these people and finding all of these ways to meet their needs. And then product shortages from our suppliers were just horrific, and then prices started to creep up. So you're trying to keep your staff safe, you're trying to keep your customers happy. You don't have the infrastructure that you had a few months before. So finding products, trying to, build trust with people, put up the plexiglass, use the sanitizer, wash your hands, mark off the floor, do all those things to try to protect people. So yeah, and then not increase our staff because you don't want to put more people at risk, and you don't bring anyone in because you don't know what their contact points have been. So it was like, well, maybe I was going to say double the work, but probably more, because anybody who's doing it knows that curbside and phone in is far more difficult than having someone come in, choose their items, pay, and leave. And we're still doing a lot of home delivery. I think that will stay. That'll be a part, especially for seniors and those who are have compromised immune systems or are just more susceptible to illness. But yeah, and we find that for that first 10 weeks or so, we called it COVID busy, and it was a whole new way of doing things. And then we're sliding into summer, and we're starting to see some normalcy this last couple of weeks, and now we're moving into summer busy. So, but still struggle with product shortages. I think that's our biggest thing, is trying to keep what people want on the shelves, dealing with the increased price in beef. When Cargill closed, that ripple effect lasts a long time. So we're fortunate that sales increased and that things go well, but with that comes the added pressure of being able to meet the needs of your customers and keep everyone safe at the same time.
Definitely, yeah. A very interesting and different kind of scenario for you over there in the essential services category. Thanks so much for that, Joanne. All right, Bruce, down to you.
Hi, my name is Perron, and Ivy and I have a retail store in Merrickville. We also have a e-commerce business that has definitely benefited from the COVID. We had last year worked at, we had 2 different small pop-ups within the village, and then this year decided that we would, open up a much larger retail store within Merrickville, which, we geared up, bought a bunch of lighting, bought inventory, and then closed the store due to COVID 2 weeks after opening it. So that was a bit of a challenge, having lots of inventory that had to be paid for and not a store opening. We decided, because we had some time on our hands, plus I was laid off from my day job that I was working at, to invest more in our e-commerce business. Fortunately, the timing was such that we ended up within a month becoming an international distributor for one of the product lines that my wife was working for, art. So, I mean, on the good side, within a period of a month of sales, we'd surpassed all of our last year's retail mortar sales within, a very short period of time. Opening the store back up, we did the, hand sanitizer, the sign, the arrows, the 6-foot markings, the Lexan screen. We hired one of our employees back because we're working 12 hours a day on the e-commerce site. But traffic has been very slow. We have worked with a couple other merchants to, now that the patios are opening, to do giveaways and try to bring more people into Merrickville. But it's definitely been an eye-opening event on shifting focus on how to make your business stay afloat when either the store's closed or there's much reduced traffic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Oh, Yeah, Lynn, one sec. Let me try and unmute you here. Can you, there we go. Lynn, do you see if you can unmute your audio there? There's a little mute button.
Yep. Can you hear me? What is the name of Bruce's store?
The name of the store is the Affinity Gallery.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good catch, Lynn.
I did the same thing.
So thanks for those intros, you guys. I think that helps give our participants a little bit of context about what the answers that are going to be coming next from you. So let's get started with our first question. Lynn, you're back up again, so you can stay unmuted. Could you let us know the current status of your reopening? I think you mentioned that you're back open now to the public, and also maybe a little bit more specifically in the types of pivots and modifications you've made to your store. You've touched briefly on it, but maybe if you want to go a little bit more in depth to some specific, maybe pick up a few specific things that you want to talk about that are the changes that you've made to your store.
Okay. So we're back to running normal hours because we just want to kind of make it seem like it's more normal as well. And then also my staff coming back, they would prefer more hours too. So to keep my staff, I need to give them hours so that they can get paid, right? So I have 2 staff members that came back, a third one that's going to be coming back for part-time. So that's good. So the feeling is good. So people are coming in and seeing familiar faces, which is really important. And it feels like it's the same as it was before. It's not odd or anything. I've put everything into place. I mean, there's 8 sanitizing stations, moved everything 6 feet from everywhere, wipe the door when somebody comes in and out. Even if they don't want a hand sanitizer, we have to be super cute about it. No, I just did it in the car, and you're just like, oh, well, you can do it again. Here you go. You know, like kind of, and you're going to do it. I'm a mother. You're going to sanitize for us and protect us at the same time, right? And so that's been good. I haven't had too many, weird situations, which is good. I didn't put up the plexiglass at my cash area. We had a table that looked very nice with my decor. We lifted it up about 3 feet, so it would come up off the floor, and then standing at the cash to the customers about 6 feet away. And so then that's good. So they can hand sanitize. We wipe down the pin pad. I ordered an extra pin pad so that they'd have a pin pad and I'd have a pin pad, so we wouldn't have to share pin pads. So that took about 14 days. It went out to Nova Scotia. It came back. I don't know why, but I got it finally. So that was good. So the feeling of my customers is good. They're happy to be back in. And when they come in the store, it's kind of like they've come into the same place they used to be, which is a nice feeling, right? I'm sure Janet feels the same way, and you all feel the same way when people come in the store there, because you're welcoming them, and all of a sudden all their troubles are like at the wayside, which is kind of good. My sales are still way down compared to last year. And then of course we're not going to have any tourists. So still have lots of stock that I ordered for people to go on holiday, didn't go on holiday. So again, trying to be extra creative. And people are really cautious about buying more clothing. They've spent all this time at home thinking, I really didn't need very much. I wore my jogs, I wore this sweatshirt. How many more pieces of clothing do I need? I'm not going to go anywhere. There's no place to go, like weddings and functions and fundraisers. So that is going to be tricky for me to clear inventory for sure. And no sidewalk sales. So it's going to have to bring out some more creative wheels.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're up for the task though of being extra. So that's awesome. Thanks, Lynn. Okay, we'll go next to Janet. So Janet, do you want to talk to us about your the pivots and modifications and changes specifically you've made to your business?
Sure. Well, much like Joanne, I'm going to be continuing free local deliveries, curbside too as well. We're going to put our products on Amazon. which was always kind of in the background. That's something that we should do. Our online orders are picking up quite a bit. We might get 4 or 5 a day now, as opposed to per week. So we've really ramped up all of our social media. We have a contest going on right now for a free charcuterie board on Facebook, and people show us where they're going to enjoy the charcuterie board in their yard and hopefully celebrate summer, and a free prize. So there's a little bit of excitement about that. As I said, we're extending our hours a bit more. I'm getting a bit more staff in. And I've partnered with 3 local businesses that started up that one of them is called My Local Market out of Kemptville. And there's these 3 companies. What they did was, their pivot was to support local business, local producers. And so they've started online orders and delivery. So we're doing quite a bit with My Local Market in Kemptville, which is selling directly to consumers. Another one in Ottawa is called Pop, which is a friend chef of mine who is obviously not cooking, but she started a sideline business selling food, locally made foods. And another one called Bytown Box. And this is a couple that's in a completely different industry that has decided to help local business as well. So that's a bit of an experiment. Yeah, I think we invested in our website. I realized that a lot of the things on our website were, there were mistakes that we refined all the mistakes. We made sure that everything was in stock. We had a lot of stuff that was out of stock, which I didn't even realize. And that's really key. We did get a $2,500 grant from the Main Street Digital grant, and I don't know if they still have funding going on, but that was helpful to hire a social media person and to make those refinements to the website. So that, I think, is going to be moving forward. I think a lot more people, if they weren't comfortable with online ordering before, they certainly are now. So I expect that to be a continued, continuing thing. One thing I find that in the store, and the last 3 years I've been in the kitchen, I've kind of went back to my roots, and so I had been working in the retail store for 3 years, just in production, and I love getting back. I wanted to get back to the retail side of it anyway. But there's an opportunity now to actually, because the number of customers, there's not a line up there. You can talk to people, you can make suggestions. We can't do sampling in the store anymore, which usually we have about 8 sampling stations in the store, which is a big aspect of the store. And about 25 to 30% of our daily sales was things that we were sampling. So we can't do that anymore, and I don't even see that in the foreseeable future. But we do have time to, for example, I had a customer in yesterday. We didn't have the specific brand pasta that he wanted, but in lieu of giving him something else to taste, or I've just been giving some freebies away to things that would be a logical thing that this person would probably like or be interested in. And since we do know our customers so well, we can make some pretty good guesses. Our local coffee, we have very loyal following in our coffee, and so we're focusing on just two local roasters now. If someone comes in, for example, they're looking for a line that we used to carry, we've gone much deeper in the lines that we do carry, and so it's my job to show them why I've chosen this other brand, and for so many reasons, the way they do business, the way they're environmentally aware, and so I've been giving out lots of free things, and try this and tell me what you think, and they come back. And charcuterie has become like probably 50% of our sales is comfort food, like triple cream brie is just flies off the shelf. In times like this, I think people need some sort of comfort. So so that's a bright light. So we're expanding on that, and we're going to make it to go as well. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
Awesome. Thanks, Janet. All right, we'll go next to Shelley. Shelley, you want to talk about some specific pivots and changes that you have made over in Kemptville at your shop?
For sure. So one of the first things we did, which was on our to-do list for a very long time, and we had started the process actually through a digital Main Street grant again. And just for information, my understanding is that those grants are coming back. And even if you qualified the first time, as long as you've completed your requirements for them, you can apply again. So we really ramped up our online store. That was one of the big things that we did. But not just our online store. We really had to find ways to connect with customers over social media. So an online store is one thing, and it's definitely been successful, but taking what you'd normally do out on that sales floor and bringing it to Facebook, for example. Experimented lots with videos, which was never my comfort zone. So did a lot of lives, did a lot of videos to showcase our products. And that has to continue definitely into the future, but it's a lot of work. So it's really interesting trying to balance the old ways we did business because we are open, and then the new ways that we know we need to continue in the future. Curbside delivery and our curbside pickups and deliveries are definitely still happening, and probably will be something that we continue to do. I sometimes feel a little bit like a personal shopper, which can be fun. So again, one of the things I figured out early on is I have to tell people what's available in the store. So when people aren't in looking and choosing things, I had to become a better salesperson, but without being pushy or selly, right? I had to say, oh, well, we actually have this that goes along quite nicely with this. Did you consider that? Whereas again, probably not really my comfort zone in the past, but I've really kind of worked on those skills. For me, one of the big things that have changed is I'm consignment. So I'm taking in products, other people's products from their home, and I've had to find a way to do that safely. So we have changed our whole consignment process. We take in clothing and footwear, men's, women's, and children's. And so we now only do consignment by appointment. We've had to limit the amount of consignment that comes in because we have to store it. We're storing consignments for 5 days before we even look at them. So I have to have space in the store to store 5 days worth of consignments, where our goal always had been to get things out on the floor within 24 hours. It's really the most efficient way to do things. So I'm having to wrap my head around this. And fall, which will start for us in July, typically is our busiest intake season. So we're going to get creative around how we can still accept large amounts of things, because we need the product. We need the selection for customers. But how to do that in a safe way.
Awesome, thanks, Shelley. And just direct everybody to our the comment section. Anwir has posted a link to that digital Main Street grant that a couple of our panelists have spoken about. So if you are looking to do some investing in your online presence, and you're a business person, then check out that grant. Our office would also be happy to help you look through that and provide any assistance you might need if that's a route that you're planning to take. But definitely a really great program that I know many of the panelists have taken advantage of. So yeah, thanks for that, you guys. All right, so next we'll go to Joanne. Joanne, if you want to talk about some of the specific pivots and changes that you've made that are existing in your business right now. You're muted here, Joanne. Let's try. There we go. Gotcha.
Good. Okay. Yeah, certainly, as I spoke to earlier, the biggest changes have been curbside and home delivery for folks. We delivered to Brockville to people who weren't comfortable going to the stores. So I think, these things really, what it boils down to is kind of trust. And we've spent a lot of time trying to be as normal as possible and do what we need to do, but build trust with our customers so that they know that, if they call, they're not going to get gouged. They're going to get what they want, or we'll offer a reasonable, alternative if we don't have the selection that they want. The they just need to feel that we're kind of a safe place to be, and that we'll do our best for them. And I find that this has been a real opportunity to build relationships on a deeper level than we've had before. We have a lot of summer visitors and tourists through, but our bread and butter is our folks who are there in January, February. And with the changes that we've made and our opportunity to kind of get out there and be more helpful in the community, it's really brought people into the store on a different level. So that's been, I think, our single biggest change. When I hear about digital Main Street and online and a web presence, we really should do that. We really should have online shopping. But the thought terrifies me. We don't have 30,000 SKUs, but those that we do, you've got to have them in stock. You've got to update every day. You've got to make sure your pricing is right. Somebody's got to be looking at it. And those who are doing it seem to be very successful. So it's for us, that may be our next turn, is to get that online and to get someone dedicated to putting that presence out there. Because certainly I can see really lots of opportunities when our American friends come back and they're at the lake, if you can deliver to the dock for them, those kinds of things. But yeah, online terrifies me, because you've got to be good and you've got to be on all the time. So yeah, I think, just the way we're providing our service to our customers has been the big pivot for us, just making it work so that they feel safe and comfortable with what they're getting and what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Awesome. And Joanne, are you using the same staff to offer these additional services, or have you had to hire additional people to do deliveries?
No, my husband he's just taken to the car and at the Brockville delivery, she'll call and I'll say, well, I've got to be in town, at such and such a time, we'll meet and I'll drop it in your driveway. And so we've just made it happen. And now our ongoing and continuous delivery will be Wednesdays. For in the village, we have a seniors home and a number of folks who are housebound. So we will continue to provide for them,
Awesome.
ongoing, and that's been a great service, I think, for them and for us, because you get to meet folks that you wouldn't normally be able to see.
Yeah, that's really nice. So it sounds like, just based on everybody's stories, mostly like one takeaway from the outcome of COVID has just been business owners doing more business stuff, even though they didn't have time to do it before. So good job, everyone. All right, so Bruce, you're up next. You want to talk to us a little bit about your specific biggest changes and pivots that you've made that are in place right now?
Well, besides all the changes within the store, we actually started manufacturing hand sanitizer, which was an interesting process because we did get it classified as a natural product through Health Canada. And then we were doing deliveries of it because, we'd run into people in the post office or wherever else, and we'd have our hand sanitizer and there's, gee, where'd you get that? It's like, well, we produce it and it's got aloe vera and vitamin E and it's all natural. And then some of the businesses started using it. And then Ivy said, well, we're also going to do tick spray and all this other stuff. So we came up with a complete new product line that we had never thought we'd be doing, but there was a need for it. The other thing in terms of sales channel, and as Janet had mentioned, one of the next steps we're going to be opening up is we are going to be selling our products on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. So that takes on another life of its own, really. So the business has really evolved from us just selling custom charcuterie boards and a few other things. And it's, you have to evolve as a business and meet the demands that are out there, as long as it's within your somewhat area of expertise.
Awesome. Really, really interesting that you're starting a whole new product line that you had no plans of doing before. So
we also did get the Digital Main Street grant, which was very timely. We bought a barcoding system, and it enabled us to invest more heavily in e-commerce and software and a few other things, and get us to think more about how to be successful in digital.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thanks for that. All right, so now we'll go on to our next question. So we're wondering what your biggest success has been during these not so successful times. So if there's something that you want to share with the group about your biggest success. And we will start with Lynn again. Lynn, we'll get you unmuted here. Do you see your mute button there, Lynn? Let's see. Yeah, unmute. Come on. It's not letting me do it, Lynn. Oh, there you go. You got it.
Got it?
Got it.
So just listening to everybody else. So I guess an online presence is really important, right? It's yet another hat to wear to do all the things that we do, the back office and the accounting and everything else and the online, but it seems really super important. I didn't sell online just because I had people that were from far and wide asking me that they wanted to buy things from my website. But then I have to do the shipping, and the prices that I have on there, the prices I have in the store, so it doesn't cover the shipping. So it just became more complicated. So I just had them just Brockville, unfortunately, and the area. And then also they could call, and then I could figure out shipping and all that stuff for them. So that was something I just couldn't wrap my head around, unfortunately, but definitely a great idea, and definitely I should do it. The 1 week that I was at home out of the 8 weeks, I did work on the website, which was, and you're right, Janet, there's things that were on there that shouldn't have been on there. It didn't look so great anymore. It looked kind of old. So that was really important. And I see people from everywhere checking the website. So yes, put your hat on and spend at least, half hour a day if you can to kind of like up the ante on that website. I think that was important. One thing that we really, that we did was we did Mother's Day bundles, which was a big hit. We started off with I was thinking, how are we going to sell things Mother's Day? Like, because it's a big one for us. We usually sell a lot of things at Mother's Day. And so we decided to make these little bundles, and they were all $69, and they were as is. And we put them on Facebook and Instagram and set them up and take pictures. You become a photographer as well for your store, which was yet another hat. And took the pictures of them, and people would just message us and said, like, bundle number 5, can you deliver it? Here's my e-transfer, la la. And then bundle number 6. So we only did 10 to start with, and we ended up selling 36 bundles. So that was kind of cool. So then we just did Father's Day bundles. And then I think we're gonna probably do a monthly bundle for those birthday people. So if there's a monthly bundle I can put together, maybe 4 or 5, and then, oh, I love that one for my mom, I'll take bundle number 5. So that was kind of cool. So that was something kind of new for us. And it did generate some excitement. They were almost like, oh, I'm taking number 5 and it's gone. So, so that was kind of interesting for us. So I think we're going to continue with something like that. And then all the other social media things, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's really, I saw those bundles, and that's a great idea, because people couldn't come into your store and pick 3 little things to make their gift basket. So you doing that for them is a really easy way of getting that out to them. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Lynn. All right. Next we have Janet. Janet, do you want to talk about your biggest success during this time?
Sure. So what we did was we added 200 local products, which was already in the works before COVID, but we did finish that. We added 200 products that are locally made, and sort of a lot of the key items that people do visit the store for. So so that has really increased sales. Again, like refining the website and making sure that everything's working. Sort of on your bundle idea, Lynn, we're going to start, and again, it's an idea that's been sitting there for a long time, but never had time to do it. But we're going to do subscription food boxes, like a foodie kind of club. So you can buy for a gift, you can buy a 3-month or a 6-month subscription, or so that's going to be fun. And I relaunched our newsletter, which I used to write every other month kind of thing, and it kind of went by the wayside. And it's a great way to reach people, because virtually everyone on that newsletter list, they're all people that we've asked that have attended cooking classes with us. And so they're typically the most keen of all of our customers. We're doing those things. The other thing that, I used to do when I managed the store, I'll do most of my ordering all by special orders from talking to customers in the store. And so a lot of the reorders I'm doing now are all things that as soon as it arrives, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of the things are pre-sold already. The people will come in and they will buy things as well. The other thing too, expanding, we do a lot of British product, and I always order whatever people ask for. I'd always bring it in because I figured if someone is, wants 6 of a particular, and Brits are so very particular about their brand, if marmalade, for example. But if this person wants to order 6 or 12 just of this marmalade, I'm pretty sure other people are gonna like it as well. So that really led my buying patterns, and I'm going back to that, which is great. We do get some delays in deliveries being rural, that they're waiting until they have enough on the truck to bring to us. But people are being patient, and I'm just trying to make sure that I don't run out of those key items, and try to deal with back orders as quick as possible as well. And as far as the health and safety protocols, we're all over that, and won't let anyone come in without redoing their hands, even if they said they did it in the car. So that's been quite successful. People have been really, I think, grateful for the delivery service as well, which is actually really fun to do, and meet some of your customers and where they live. And I had no idea some of them come from. Another reason for gratitude is that a lot of people drive up to an hour to come to Merrickville. So now we have that little bit of extra time to really greet them and make sure they're finding everything, or maybe a substitute for something that we may be out of stock on.
Awesome. I really like that subscription idea, Jan. I think that's been successful in many other businesses. So I think that's really in right now. I think people are going to love that.
Good.
Awesome. All right, Joanne, we're coming to you. Want to talk about your biggest success during this time? We'll get you unmuted here, Joanne, in a second. There we go. Good.
Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Probably our biggest success is not even really totally related to sales, which is kind of funny, but it goes back to the community involvement and how people look at the store in the village, and how it kind of becomes their store. We've had an opportunity to do a little fundraising for the local food bank in Athens, and some of the folks have asked us to purchase for them. So, and I really enjoy that. We can reach out to our suppliers and get what we can at cost, and then send it out. So it builds this whole sense of community. And, then people that have come into the store, certainly they came more often during COVID because they weren't heading, to Brockville, to the bigger stores. We have a deeper relationship now, which goes beyond cans of beans or the price of ground beef. It's, we're all looking out for ourselves in the town, and we're all looking out for our neighbors now. So I think that success is just building that community relationship, which is really important to me. This is our second career, our retirement thing. So our goals are maybe a little bit more different. Sometimes you can be too busy. It's not a great thing. But how do you fit in your community, and how does your community see you, and what are the benefits to everyone? So I think that this has been our greatest success, is just that relationship that we're building.
That's so awesome. And I think that just is another thing to show you that living in a small town and supporting your small local businesses, it goes much farther than just in the walls of that store. As we can see here, all of our panelists care deeply about their communities. So that was really nice, Joanne. Thanks for that. All right, Shelley, we'll come on over to you if you want to talk about your biggest success during this time.
So a lot of the things have already been mentioned. Just having more of an online presence was extremely important and helped us get through. But again, with that, I think, and other people have mentioned this too, is the sort of connecting with customers. I think a lot of people appreciated, particularly around Easter, it was really hard for parents to figure out how to get little Easter basket items to their kids. So I think they really appreciated that we were there, we were available, we were super busy, and we were just, doing everything we could to meet the needs and get those Easter orders filled. So yeah, connecting with our customers, listening to them around what they wanted, which ends up being a good financial decision too. So we brought in a lot of products that we'd never had before, or we'd had a small selection, but people's needs during COVID are different than their needs prior to COVID. Families were a lot busier, so they didn't have time, for example, to do things like puzzles. Well, boy, puzzles were extremely popular, and we couldn't keep them. So we luckily found some new suppliers, and the supply issue is a bit of a problem too, in that not only are some of the supply chains broken, but suppliers seem to want us to purchase in bigger quantities. They don't want to break up case packs. So, we did also take a few risks in bringing in a whole lot of something in hopes that it was going to be successful. But any kind of educational items, puzzles, crafts, things parents could do with their kids' games, we really expanded in those areas, and we'll continue that into the future as well.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of parents looking for help entertaining their little ones during this time for sure. All right, Bruce, we're coming to you. You want to tell us about some specifics about your biggest success that you've had during this time?
Well, I would say business-wise, it's becoming a distributor for a product line that we were a customer for. But going along the lines of what Joanne was saying, having the time, spending more time online with our customers on a wider scope, getting to know more about what their challenges and what their likes are has really helped us with our product selection. The other thing is we've been spending a lot more time with the other merchants in town to find out what their challenges are and try to see, because we're a little bit more evolved in terms of digital technology and e-commerce, how to help them along. So having this has caused us to have a better relationship with our suppliers, with our end customers, because we communicate on Instagram constantly, and with the merchants in town that, it really brings you, as much as your social distance and you can't be in gatherings, we spend much more time with human interaction and social interaction than we did previously.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that. All right, so we'll move to our last question, and then we're going to open up, after our panelists answer this question, then we'll open it up to questions from the rest of the participants. So we are looking for what you think might be some tangible steps that either, us at the county's economic development department, municipally, chambers, business organizations in your areas, what are some ideas that you think that can be implemented going forward that would help support your business and other businesses like you? And we'll start with Lynn. Can we get you unmuted first here? Let's try. Can you click unmute for yourself? There we go. Gotcha. Okay, you're up, Lynn.
I must admit, I'm not techie savvy whatsoever. And so then when I get a lot of things like the digital marketing, you could do this, look at this webinar, and then I get things from the chamber, and then they're doing a virtual thing. It just seems to be way overwhelming for me to put yet another hat on my head on top of all the other things that I'm doing. I know we're all doing all of those things, and it's just way too much for me. So basically what I would like to see is something a little bit more simplified, considering that we're all wearing 100 hats each. Bruce is recreating the wheel over there, and he's doing Amazon, and Janet's doing Amazon, and Shelley's getting in puzzles from all over the world, and Joanne is listening to her customers to be able to get, you know, more of that tomato sauce that they all love, or more of that cheese that they all love. Those are really important things that are time consuming, because you're talking to your customer and trying to be one-on-one, because we all love our customers, and we all love our businesses. And so then that's why we are in business on our own, is because we like that. So by getting things from all these avenues, if they were just a little bit more simplified, you know, this is what we can offer you, dot, 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 dot. Call me if you need help. I can walk you through it. But when somebody sends me a webinar and says, do you want to sign up, which, you know, I got to plug into this, and how do I sign up? And oh my gosh, I don't know what they're talking about. So something a little bit more simplified would be awesome for me. And that I could get those points from there, and then maybe ask a few questions from that. But I found it's just way too overwhelming, all of these different things, that I would be like having to reinvent my wheel that way and reinvent my wheel that way. So for me, it's just too much from all of those things. So something simple, more simplified, would be lovely for me.
That's really good to hear that, because, you know, we have all of these webinars and sessions, kind of like the ones we're sitting in now, but the whole point is for them to be useful and helpful to the businesses that we're trying to serve. So it's good to hear that.
And it's a time issue, you know, because like Janet said, so now I'm going to be updating my website, you know, at the end of the day, you know, and Shelley is saying the same thing. Well, now I'm going to be doing more online presence, and she's got to put those clothes away for 5 days. And then she gets an email saying, oh, we're offering this. Did you know that? And you're like, oh, I'm going to have to read that at 11:30 tonight. Oh, and I can't even think what they're talking about. So something just a little bit more, like I said, you know, like maybe 10 points of what we might need, and then, you know, contact you or somebody else and just kind of walk through it one-on-one, just because I just find it way too much.
You're doing enough as it is. Yeah. So awesome. Thanks for that. Okay. All right. So next we'll go to Janet. Janet, do you have any ideas of things that you'd like to see?
Yeah. So I think local cooperation between the businesses is key. And our Chamber of Commerce is doing a good job trying to get the word out there that Merrickville is open. We've had some challenges with our municipality, basically telling people not to come to Merrickville, which is, we get lots of calls every day saying, are we allowed to come to Merrickville? Because we were told that we weren't allowed. So, I mean, the strength of Merrickville is not any one of our businesses, but all of us together need to try to help each other out. And I think people in general are, I think their eyes have been open to, you know, don't go and buy the hand sanitizer at Walmart. I don't even go into that store, but when we have someone locally making it, why wouldn't we buy theirs, you know, and why should we tell people about it as well, share that. The other thing too that I think would be really helpful would be based on the Prince Edward County Taste Trail, which has been a huge, huge success and has really brought them to a much different level, highlighting some of the producers in our area. And maybe that's a provincial program, I don't know, or regionally, a shop local program, to just bombard everyone with the idea of shopping locally, because it is on their mind already. And remember and think about the things that make us different from the Walmarts of the world. You know, we can be a lot more flexible. We can change what we're doing tomorrow if we need to. We can be much more responsive, and that's our strength. So we just need everyone to know that we're here, and we're here to serve and the best that we can under the circumstances, and support our local, our neighbors, you know, of the other stores and businesses. Shop locally.
Awesome. No, that's a great idea. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm actually taking notes of what you guys are saying, because this is my most important question of the day, is what we can do to help you guys. All right. So who do we have up next? We have Shelley up next. Shelley, do you want to share some ideas of what you think can be done to assist?
Sure. So I'm going to reiterate the shop local theme, but I'm going to be a little more specific because some shop local marketing is targeted to a specific area, but I think we need a shop local marketing campaign that talks about small and independent businesses, locally owned businesses, because shopping local in Kemptville is one thing, but shopping with your locally owned businesses is another thing. And you know, definitely it's been small business that's been hit the most through this. So that's just sort of my point, is I know over years we've had some shop local campaigns, and it's been a while. But the goal of it was to keep people from shopping in the city, going into Ottawa and shopping. So, you know, shopping at your Walmart in Barrhaven or shopping at your Walmart in Kemptville. Again, to me, that's a different message than what I want our customers to be bombarded with, is to be reminded that the locally independent owned businesses are really the fabric of small communities, and they're the ones that support all of the local initiatives that take place. So without local business, I'm fearful for, you know, I mean, I look around our downtown and I wonder, you know, not just who's going to be open as Stage is open, but I wonder who's going to be here in a year, because this has been very devastating for a lot of small locally owned businesses.
Yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, I think very good suggestions, you guys. All right, we're gonna move on to Joanne. Any thoughts you have to provide on this? Oh, we'll get you unmuted here. Good, there you go.
Actually, I think I just really have to repeat what's being said. You know, emphasis on supporting local, small, independently owned businesses that are operating in the community, people that have invested their time and their money to come and, you know, open up, and just to emphasize that to folks. And I realize, you know, we're never going to be able to compete with Walmart on price, but certainly we can do it on service and convenience. And it just, we don't, none of us have the kind of advertising budgets that the big stores have. So that's not going to happen. So anything that local governments and municipalities can do to highlight and support local independent businesses is really, I think, the key thing. It's just getting the messaging out there on our behalf, and making sure that, you know, people are aware of who we are, what we're doing, what we're providing, and what we mean, you know, in our whole community beyond what we sell or produce.
Yeah, so focusing kind of on the more personal touch and the benefits that you get from supporting the local things is an important message to be sharing during those types of campaigns. So yeah, awesome, thanks. All right, I think we're coming down to you now, Bruce. Any thoughts from you?
Yep, actually I had breakfast with Eve from the local chamber this morning, because we hadn't spoken in quite a while, or hadn't actually got together. Now that the patio is open, we can, you know, socially distance ourselves. So it was a good conversation, and a lot of it was talking about the businesses that were able to transition through the COVID period. And there's quite a few shops within town, including, you know, Janet and the Wick Witch, that did much better than a lot of the other shops that just kind of threw their hands up and just kind of stopped doing everything. So it was, you know, how do we get all the businesses to help each other out within an organization? You know, people don't have a lot of time, but everyone has a lot of different ideas. So being able to get people that have stepped up and found a different way, and to share that and help out the other businesses. There are a lot of things, like Lynn had said, that are very difficult and put you out of your comfort center. But there's probably a merchant that you would know that can walk you through it, just as you can walk them through what you're really good at. The other thing in terms of a challenge, and Ivy and I had looked at a lot of the different daily changing government programs to see if we qualified for anything, you know, and it's like, okay, basically we were too small to qualify for any of the programs, because if you looked at how much we paid out last year in payroll, it was very little because we were in the stores working there, full-time ourselves. Being able to go to one place, because when you talk to the banks that will facilitate a lot of these, they generally find out about the programs after they've already launched. The regional development programs, which are fairly new, those are great. And I have found that on the Leeds and Grenville site, it's the most comprehensive of being able to look through. These are all the various programs available and help you navigate through them. Plus, you can contact anyone at your office to be able to, get a personal guidance of how you can move forward.
Well, thanks for that little plug there, Bruce.
Oh,
But yeah, that's good to know that those types of services that we offer that we think are helpful are being helpful and being useful, and probably half the battle is getting that information out for people to know that is there and available. But yeah, a huge part of what we've been doing, especially in this crisis time, is just being there for businesses and just being a person that answers a phone and tries and helps somebody out with a question that they have. So thank you. And also really good to know. All right. So now we're going to move to any questions from our participants. Feel free to either type in the chat box if you have any questions for any of our panelists, or myself, or Ann Weir, who's the manager of our economic development department. So let us know if you have any questions. So we'll take a look here, waiting for some. Will this be taped and available for others to see and connect with? Yes, yeah. So we are recording this session right now, and we will be sharing that out with multiple organizations. So we'll, just like we shared the registration link with our local chambers and municipalities, we'll try and share our recording so that any businesses who weren't able to attend today are going to be able to check out and view our session after. Could the municipality have done something differently to help? Oh, is that a question to our panelists? Okay, does anyone want to answer this question? Do you think your municipality could have done something differently to help during this crisis? Any panelists have an answer?
Yes. I think instead of saying do not come to Merrickville, we could have explained all of the process that we have in place to keep people safe. And we have, none of us are just opening our doors and not, we're taking everything very seriously. So that would be a much more positive message, I think, to send to people that we are following all the protocols and then some. And, we have to realize that within our village that we're so dependent on events. We're not going to have any events this year. So we need to all sort of pull together and send a positive message, I think.
Yeah.
That we're doing everything we can. And yeah.
I think we'll see that more going forward. I can speak for, my experience and myself when I know that at the beginning of this crisis, everyone was in crisis mode and not quite sure what's going to happen and what we should be doing. But I think now the province and the feds and everyone kind of has their minds wrapped a little bit more around the safety, and we are more confident that our stores are following protocols too. So yeah, let's hope that we see more of that type of messaging coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a hand I saw down there from you?
Yeah, as the other Merrickvillian within the crowd, besides the CTV appearance, the large signs at every road going into Merrickville with, it looks like COVID zones, stay away. So although I don't think we have any documented cases, there's rather large signs that are telling people, COVID is a big issue here. And I think that's a big turnoff, because you can never make a first impression, and you are now entering Merrickville right underneath huge COVID sign.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that, Bruce. Okay, I've got another question here from Terry. Any ideas about sidewalk sale kind of things, how to clear out stock of spring stock that we've been stuck with to get a little cash flow? If I just already shared, just tell me and I'll watch the recording. No, I don't think we've talked specifically about that. So anybody have any thoughts or plans to do any sidewalk sale types of things? Anyone want to talk about that on the panel? Maybe that's something that we can look into. Oh, Lynn, okay, unmute yourself and you're up.
Am I unmuted?
You're good.
So I think that the downtown Brockville DBI is doing a virtual sidewalk sale. That's what they're trying to set up. And then also, like, we do have product out on our street. They did do a survey for the DBI did a survey asking if we would like to eliminate parking in front of our stores in downtown Brockville for certain days or one day or all week or whatever. So the survey was about that. I basically said, I'd like it like Fridays and Saturdays, no parking on King Street, which I know it's a highway and I know everybody's going to complain, but we're all walking now. We're all walking everywhere. So they could actually park and walk to your store without having, you know, maybe that negative side of it. I had to walk so far to get here. The other thing is that they're going to maybe open up all the parking lots that typically you would have to pay for. And they would be free for maybe those 2 days or whatever. So that you could actually put a small pop-up tent kind of thing onto the where you would normally park a car and put out some of your wares. Now that would be, you'd need extra staff or whatever, but for those 2 days, making it, because people would probably like to shop outside. You know, those ones that I'm still doing curbside delivery to their cars because they don't want to get out of their cars. They may feel that having a few of those pop-up little tents or whatever, because there's not a store every single store. We're not full. We have vacant spaces, banks and such. So there is that flow of that, and it would make it seem a little bit more normal, but also might be able to help alleviate some stock out the door. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to do something in Merrickville. We're not sidewalk sales. I don't have staff to run a sidewalk sale, and also, you know, this margins are so low on food that I can't really afford to put a lot of things out on sale either. But we are starting an initiative where we've lost our farmers market, and so a lot of the shops that have space in their laneways. So we're going to host a local farmer to sell all of his vegetables in our driveway, basically at the store, and hopefully a lot of other stores are going to do that as well. So that'll be sort of our form of sidewalk sale in a way.
Great idea. Yeah, and that further makes the density of businesses downtown increase, so that there's more bang for your buck when you're coming to visit a downtown area. That's a great idea. Thanks, Janet.
And people really want to support local farmers. They do.
Mm-hmm.
So make it easy for them to do
Yeah,
that.
Definitely. Shelley, I saw your hand going up.
Yeah, I was going to go back to the idea about the bundles that a few people mentioned, because I really like that idea. I played with it a little bit at Easter, but probably not early enough. The other thing we do, and we're different because we're consignment, is we do an end of season bag sale, which was just coming up when COVID started. So I did surprise bags to get rid of out of season stock, and they were pretty popular, especially for kids clothing. I mean, adults tend to want to try things on and stuff like that. So I'm not sure that would work for everybody, but I think that is going to be a problem for us. Is we were shut down almost a seasonal season for clothing. So anybody who does clothing, we're going to have a lot of stock at the end of the season. And it's a good question. How are we going to get rid of it and make some money on it? Because we need to.
That too. Yeah, that's important. Awesome. Okay. Anybody else have anything to add to the clearing of spring or older stock? I'll let you unmute while I keep scrolling to see what else we've got here. Oh, Lynn, there's somebody who's reached out to you in the chat about some online support if you wanted to look there. I'll also copy and paste it, and I can give that to you in an email after this session. There's some additional comments about things that are going on in Merrickville through the chamber, some 360 videos of inside stores to showcase what's going on in those stores. That's really interesting. That's going on in Merrickville.
Shelby, just wondering if our panelists would perhaps, if there's a suggestion on what type of mediums they would like to see a buy local campaign done in. So where would you like to, what type of target market and what type of marketing, advertising, or what is it that you're thinking you would like to see in buy local?
For those shop local campaigns, yeah. Any thoughts on that, anybody? Kind of more specifically what you want for shop local? Okay, Joanne, why don't you go, and then Lynn will come to you.
I'm realizing how not technical I am. But really, you know, for us, you know, I'm in my car every morning, you know, radio, you know, we all have our local news channels or whatever that we listen to, you know. In Brockville, we have our famous Bruce Wiley that, you know, I get all my local news on. That's, you know, and it's amazing how many people still listen. I know Facebook and, you know, webinars and those kinds of information are great for many. But for a lot of us, you know, I'm getting my information from my local radio station, and having that kind of support, you know, kind of repeated over and over, I think would be great.
Awesome. All right, Lynn, you had your hand up too. Do you want to unmute and share your thoughts on shop local campaigns? Okay, Shelley, I got you next.
So previous times we've had like shop local posters and things that we put in our window and at the cash, or I put them in the change room. It would be nice to have like shop local t-shirts. Maybe that's what we should be wearing more often. I mean, you have all these places, they have special days of the week. Like my worst day of the week is a Tuesday. I can't seem to sell a lot on Tuesdays. So, you know, you have Toonie Tuesday, you have Senior Day. Maybe we should just every week have Tuesday as shop local day. Like, and then everybody wear your shop local t-shirts. We put that out there. Some of the people that are doing some kind of you know, your websites and whatever, you can do a little video of your staff wearing the shop local on Tuesdays, and just kind of like just keep plowing this into people's heads, shopping local. And then also people love a picture. If you take a picture of them when they're shopping local in your store, you of course have to ask them and all the good things, but they have a bag or whatever, and you take a picture of them and you post that on your Facebook or on your Instagram or both, and it goes out there. And what does it do? It shows other people, oh, my friend Sally, she just bought something and she was on Facebook. I should go and do that, right? And so then it just makes people want to kind of like do that too. And then saying, you know, of course, how much goes back into the community, and that your kids are supported at the splash pad, and all of those things that it supports by shopping local and keeping your dollars in town or in the towns or small towns. But something that's just keeps going, this shop local thing, you know, like I think Tuesday should be shop local day. Go out, shop local.
Yeah. Yeah, no, awesome. That's good. And you know, you don't know unless you're running a store which day is the busiest day. You would think from the outside that, oh, it's probably Saturday when everybody's off work, but Tuesday. No. Good to know.
Tuesday. So you could pick one of your days that is not good for your community, Kemptville or Merrickville, and that could be your day. And then of course you'd offer something, you know. I mean, everybody that shopped in my store, they all got a card guard. They all got a free pen with my logo on it, you know. Mm-hmm. So I know it costs money, but it gives repeat to come back, and everybody loves something free if we can throw something free at them, right, Janet? You know, so a little bit of something like that. I love free. So I don't know, maybe it's just something we could do on a once a week thing so that it just generates people coming. Yeah. Because one of the biggest fears for me is having this wave change. This is on a negative, unfortunately, have the wave change, and that, you know, Santa Claus might not come to town. That's my scare, you know, we're going to stock our stores and we're going to think it's good. And then, I don't know, you know, so then we have to reinvent the wheel for Santa shoppers, right? So if we can generate some monies to get ourselves to, you know, the point where we're going to be good, it's going to be great, it's not going to happen, then I don't know, maybe we could pick a day.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. All right, Shelley, if you want to chime in, then we'll go to the next question. We got a bunch popping up here in the comment box.
I was going to say, definitely some of our local newspapers and radio stations are struggling as well, because as businesses, we're doing a lot less advertising. So I think that's a good way. But I have to say, for me, our customers are on Facebook and Instagram. So I think, and that's relatively inexpensive way to just really bombard. And I think education is key. So not just shop local, but why? Why would a community shop local? I think is really important.
Awesome. Yep. Definitely really good. All right. Here's another good question that I think is going to be of interest to a lot of people. What's happening in your area regarding services for the municipalities? For example, are washrooms open? Are the flower beds being done? Grass being cut? Garbage being picked up? That sort of thing. Anyone have any comments on that question? So the standards that, yep, Janet, you're up.
So washrooms are an issue in Merrickville, but I understand that they've finally just opened the washrooms at the canal. Have I got that right, Bruce? Not sure. I think they have opened up. So there's one place for people to use the washrooms. Basically, for quite a while, people were shopping and there was no washroom available anywhere. So that's definitely an issue.
Yeah, no, washrooms are a big, we're hearing a lot about it now, and I know at our working groups, we're talking a lot about washrooms now, but I know it's a major concern for businesses and shoppers, for sure. They want to know. All right, what do we got here? Some more information about social media, tagging bigger organizations around you to get extra exposure. So yeah, like Shelley had said, using social media, kind of tagging people and cross-posting, and the more people who are doing that, the better for everybody. BIAs, tourism organizations. Yep, no, that's really good. Thanks, Joanne. Eve has said maintenance, but washrooms are still an issue. No municipal washrooms are open, Eve says, in Merrickville as of yet. So yeah, I think we will see washrooms, obviously, that can't be ignored as the economy gets opened back up. So yeah, washrooms are going to be a thing to keep on our minds. And yep, Shelley?
I was in Merrickville recently with my kids, and the washroom is open by the canal. So that was very helpful, because I was worried about it, because what happens, right?
Yeah.
Especially when people are driving distance to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so just so everyone knows, that's good to hear about Merrickville, but yeah, our working group that is comprised of municipal and BIAs and chamber representatives, we're having these conversations about washrooms and facilities. So yeah, just know that people are knowing it's important and doing something. Yep, Shelley?
I was going to say, we still have our washroom open, and I know a lot of businesses have closed washrooms. We've always had a washroom. We have a lot of pregnant women and kids that come through our shop. And again, in keeping with that normal feel, we just wipe down after people use the washroom, but we do have an open washroom.
Yeah, good to know. All right, so we have lots of comments in the comment box for people to scroll through if they haven't, but I think that's the end of the questions that I'm seeing. So panelists, if you have anything else you want to add, I know Anne is going to make the closing remarks before we go, but if you guys had anything else to say, now's your chance, and if not, I'll hand it over to Anne. All right, Anne, looks like it's you. Oh, Lynn, yep, you made it in right at the end. Just remember to unmute yourself here. There you go.
So it would just be so great. This was great. This was fun. This was nice to talk to everybody. And I don't really know any of you. So that was really nice to meet some new people. And also, like, it would be great if we all could like each other on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, you know, you like Echo, I'll like your store and everything, and that we can all kind of stay connected. So you see what I'm kind of doing and I see what you're doing, and maybe we can get some new ideas as well and connect in that way. I mean, I'm not going to start, you know, manufacturing for Amazon yet, but all of those great things are saying, well, wow, if you can, if you're spinning that wheel, maybe I can spin a smaller wheel in some other way. And so then having those ideas would be lovely. So if we can all like each other and tag each other or whatever the case is, or however these words work, and on Instagram, that would be awesome. I'd love to follow you all.
Cool. And if everyone wants to put their links to their own accounts in the chat, then that'll make it easier for people to get to them. And now, well, Janet, are you unmuted to chat, or can we?
Yes, I am. Yes, yep. I am. I think that's a great idea, Lynn. So I'm going to do that right at the end of this call. I think this kind of opportunity is awesome. We can all learn from each other and figure this thing out. And you know, maybe we could do something in our area that is, you know, if you visit a certain number of stores, we can give them some prizes or something like that. Try to work together as much as possible. And yeah, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and to thanks for the invitation.
Well, thank you, everyone. And I'd like to thank, first of all, Shelby for organizing this. And it was Shelby's suggestion, and actually Terry from Green Gecko that had mentioned about it'd be great just to chat with other individuals to hear how you are all progressing. And you know, when I listen to you all, wow, all of you still, I'm always impressed of entrepreneurs and how inspirational and such an ideas, and you pivot, and if anything, I think it's just exemplified the customer service and how good you have become. So congratulations to all of you in weathering this storm as we continue through its path. And certainly, you know, I think that's something that we should all be very proud of, is the sense of community that this region has. And I try to make sure I get out to as many stores as possible in making a small and economic impact everywhere I go. And certainly the Buy Local campaign will be taking note of that. And that's why I asked specific to that. We have different committees, task teams that have been formed. One is helping on the business reopenings, and we've had the signage and the website, and we're going to continue, and patios was a big discussion along with washrooms. So we are taking a look and having those conversations from a municipal perspective. They're in that delicate balance of how do we support business, yet how do we make our budgets? So they're working together to try and figure out what's the magic formula on that. And certainly your messaging today was heard, and I'll take that back to the different municipalities. What we also heard today is how each of you are grappling or advancing with online, and that's something we'll be taking another strong look at, is business support and transformation. So Lynn, we will be rolling out some programs to handhold you through some of those aspects, because I totally understand where you're coming from, because everybody's at a different level, and I commend those that have launched into it and continue to use that. So thank you to each and every one of you. I wish you the sincerest best. And I'd like to thank our participants for also joining us who are on the line. I know some of you are either stores or different agencies that are supporting business. Hopefully today has been inspirational for you, and we'll certainly do our utmost to continue to support and buy local and see you progress, because you are truly our backbone in this region. So thank you for your commitment, and thank you for an excellent panel. We sincerely appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye.